Aloha Audleyites, I hope you all had a Merry Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate. I'm now back with a brand new Audley Analyzes video, as well as a new microphone, as you can see on the corner of the camera here. No more fritzy, cutting out or choppy voice quality. My nerdy quang will come out silky smooth for all of you out there. Back on the topic of Halo, I'm going to be looking at a video from Lethul of Evil Geniuses on Rig Slayer during a scrim against CLG. I've been wanting to look at Lethul for a while now. I just haven't had really the opportunity with some of the other games I've looked at. I usually refer to Lethul, if you've seen my priority videos, I refer to him as a priority 4. He's the type of player that just fills the gaps in a team and goes where he needs to go. And he really works well with Evil Geniuses and Roy and Lunchbox, and their emphasis as a team on proper spacing and just covering each other's angles from taking different routes and staying spread apart but always in position to work together. And that really comes through in this video I'm about to show you guys. And we're going to go ahead and hit play and watch what Lethul does off the start. See, he goes straight for the scatter shot, and he sees immediately Snipe Down is looking for the camo, and he immediately leaves that angle. He goes to cover a different angle, gets shots in Snakebite in the side, backs him down, although Snakebite did end up cleaning up Roy. And then Lethul backs down and goes to help Lunchbox, and before Lunchbox can be taken down, Lethul is already there helping him and gets the kill. And this is just a great demonstration of teamwork. And now he's pushing with the scatter shot. Pushed a little bit too far, but he killed one player and got another below half shield, so he dealt a lot more damage than he took in that situation. Now he's immediately going to Junction. Here, this is just a generally strong area of the map that he was hunting the player that he did see run across. And now he sees Roy is caught all alone on the other side of the map. What does he do? He goes to top tower, and he's in position to help Roy should Roy come under fire. And this is exactly what priority 4 players do. He's covering major angles, he's in position to help Roy or immediately get help from Roy. As Roy crouches around the corner of Snipe, he ends up pushing away. And now Lethul is by himself. What does he do? He backs down and lets the enemies come to him. He knows he doesn't have help from Roy anymore, so he's backing down. Now he sees the player alone, so he charges with his SMG, gets 2 one-on-one battles with the SMG, and wins them both. He's kind of lucky he didn't get cleaned up quickly when he was under snipe there. Ogre 2 did have an angle on him. Still got spotted and cleaned up by CLG. Yeah, he sees Frosty and gets help on Snipe Down to pick up the assist. Sees he doesn't really have any good angles at the moment, so he goes to grab the plasma caster. Fantastic weapon. Knowing he was going to be able to break that sightline, he focused on using the charge up mechanic instead of just chucking the nades. Unfortunately, he was alone by open field and on mid catwalk, so it was really easy for CLG to post him there. It looked like he got Lunchbox killed with the plasma caster to the back of the throat there, or back of the neck rather. Here he's just trying to plug this gap from Snakebite, and I'm actually going to rewind just a second. Fast forward, get back to where we were. And what I'm going to point out here is he's coming down these bottom steps. There's a player looking over his shoulder. That's Snipe Down. Well, I guess he's not really looking over his shoulder. He's actually grabbing the sniper. But Lethul is not pushing these stairs by himself. He's got players in position. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Snipe Down is just over his shoulder, but they're not in the same place. Like, say you're Snakebite in this situation. Like, if Snakebite goes around this corner, he has to pick which battle he wants to fight. He can't fight them both at the same time, and that's what spacing does. If you're both like holding hands or tripping over each other's feet, it's really easy for a player to get splash damage or just damage both of you heavily enough that they can kill you because you're both coming from the same angle. And by approaching from different angles like Evil Geniuses are doing here, you get rid of that possibility. And that's a big part of what makes EG so strong, is that they're constantly doing this almost at a subconscious level because they practice it so much. And there you see Lethul lost his shield, so he backs up, cleans up a player, probably a call out. He got that a player was down there. And Snakebite's weak, dropping to the bottom, so Lethul cleans him up as well. You see Lethul's got 6 kills and 4 deaths so far just by making sure that sightlines are covered. And doing a little bit of pushing with Scatter Shot on its own. Here, he sat back a little too far there, and it gave CLG time to collapse with 3 against the 2 of Evil Geniuses, so EG get punished for that situation. If Lethul had played a little bit more aggressive, he could have broken the sightline from the flank and made it a 2-on-2. Here, yet again, he's trapped, and in this case we see CLG showing great spacing. We've got Snakebite on one side of Lethul, and Ogre 2 is pushing on the other side, and the two are both able to cover this long white hall, also known as Junction, and just make sure that no one from Evil Geniuses can take over this power position because it's covered from 2 different angles. Instead, we see Lethul poke out long enough to get a one-on-one against Snakebite. Gets the kill while Ogre 2 is back down. Now he's trying to get his shields back so he can challenge Royal 2, but Royal 2 throws a good Splinter Grenade and cleans him up. And because that was a Splinter Grenade, Lethul's corpse is removed from the field. Have to get back on him. He now has a sniper rifle that he's picked up. Trying to be a hero with the no scopes, but he gets the quick scope onto Snakebite, and he didn't walk over Snipedown's corpse, and I'm gonna pause just to show precisely why he didn't do that. He wants Evil Geniuses to keep having 2 snipers. Snipedown died with a sniper rifle. He's letting Roy pick it up. That way they continue to have a large power weapon advantage. So as you see, Lethul has plenty of ammo in the sniper that he's got. Roy got cleaned up, so now Lethal's kind of trapped by himself. He's kind of standing on grenades here. But he sees Lunchbox pushing one angle, so what does he do? He hops up on this wall, and he just watches down low. He makes sure Snakebite can't go anywhere else. He could have done the bad play of just following Lunchbox to chase that player, but instead, he covers the escapes. And it's a very underrated thing that he's doing, because you think it may sound like, oh, well, this is obvious. Of course he should do that. But believe it or not, a lot of players don't actually do what Lethul just did in that situation. Here he's trying to keep CLG trapped in their spawns. He's a little bit over pursuing here. But because CLG were spawning behind him, his fast push to where CLG were ends up making CLG all spawn back at the BR side, and it flipped the map basically. So EG take over the carbine side of the map again. They get the power weapons back under their control. And Lethul's hunting with the plasma caster, gets the bounce kill. Looks to help Lunchbox, but he was too late. Lunchbox didn't need help. There he was blowing up the barrel to prepare to take the plasma caster in the future. There, a good quick 2-shot with the plasma caster. And I was just trying to get out alive, but CLG had a split spawn there. Snakebite got some damage in him, and the players coming off spawn kept him from escaping. That was a little bit poor awareness from EG on how the spawns were going to work out. But it was also fortunate for CLG to get the BR spawns when they did, especially with Snakebite over in the Carbine corner. Lethul is just trying to stay alive in this hallway here. Didn't let his shields come back and got pushed. Really makes it okay though. Gets 2 scattershot kills while Lethul's dead. The players pursuing Lethul opened that play up for Roy, so it kind of worked out for the best. Wasn't really a planned situation, but it worked out. And here I'm going to pause. You see Lethul isn't trying to push with Snipe Down. He isn't trying to hold hands with Roy or Lunchbox. He's just holding this choke point by himself. He's got sightlines on anyone at tower should Roy and Lunchbox actually push tower. So it's a 3-on-2 at tower if they were to go fight there. And this is just a perfect example of spacing in Halo. They're covering each other's angles without being in the same spot. Here you see him trying to get shots in Frosty. He missed, so what does he do? He backs up and goes to cover the push, because it looks like CLG's going to start pushing, and they are. And now, he gets there just in time to help Lunchbox get a triple kill. All because he recognized that the push was about to happen. And here, I'm going to pause because you can already see, he should have seen this. He should know he needs to back down because at the moment he's basically in a 3-on-1, or a 1-on-3 rather. Snipe Down is going to get there in time to help out and may actually come out ahead because the players are all looking toward Lethul, so I'm not sure if it's going to be a bad play overall, especially if Lunchbox joins in. But as it stands, Lethul is in a bad situation right here. He should back off of this fight and just bait it for a little longer. And while Lethul is dead, I'm actually going to switch to Snipe Down and see what he ends up doing off the back of it. Snipe Down and Lunchbox do manage to get there in time to turn that into 2 kills, so it's not a net negative for Evil Geniuses. Lethul does manage to get compensated for. He's rushing the scatter shot, but weakens him enough for Roy to clean it up. And that's going to end up probably ending the game for... we see Snipe Down getting the final kill there, probably. And there it is. Evil Geniuses win. And you see through this game, Evil Geniuses stay spread out when they're playing Halo, and it's such an underrated, overlooked part of their gameplay, and it's what makes them as strong as they are. And a large part of that comes from Lethul just knowing where the gaps are and where to go to just fill in those gaps. I showed a few situations, such as when he went tower and when he just sat on mid-cat watching tower. And these little things go a long, long way in the course of Halo, no matter which Halo it is. They've done it in Halo 2 Anniversary, they've done it in Halo Reach. It's what Roybox and Towie are so good at setting up, and it's why those players have been near the top for so long. And even though it's not them that's doing it in this particular case, it's Lethul filling in those gaps, it's something that I don't know firsthand that they're doing it, but they have to be training a player to do that and just like constantly talking about how that drives them to win. I plan on having a video to go a little bit deeper into what I mean when I say spacing in the future, but for now, that's gonna close out this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, hope you learned a little bit more about how to improve your gameplay, and until next time, aloha!